Not all mutants are a part of the X-Men. Some have other ambitions and put other goals before mutant rights and equality. Others simply get wrapped up in other teams, finding those teams to be more crucial to their identity than that of their mutant heritage. While Inhumans tend to eventually be taken in and recognized by their kind, not all mutants are. Some superheroes are even only considered to be mutants depending on who you talk to. Today we're going to take a look at some of these lesser knowns as we count down the top 10 superheroes you didn't know were mutants. Be sure to stick around to the end of this list where I will have some bonus content coming your way. And if you love secret mutants as much as we do and learning about them, consider smashing that subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay in the know about all things mutant kind. Alright, let's get counting. Number 10. Iron Man. Well, sort of. Tony Stark's mutant ability is that he is a technopath, but this mutant ability hasn't been specifically linked back to mutant genes within him. It manifested as a result of Tony playing around with the Extremis virus. However, something that I find fascinating about the virus is we originally learned that only very specific people with very specific genetic codes can even become powered by it, as the virus itself is actually deadly to most people on the planet. While I wouldn't quite say that mutants are super rare on Earth, I would argue that they are not common. It's not like everyone in the Marvel universe is a mutant. So while Tony might not be an X-gene mutant, there is something going on with his genetics if he was able to take the Extremis virus and live. I know he modified it, but either way it seems like a pretty big gamble that too convincingly paid off for me to not believe that there are some mutant genes hidden somewhere inside Iron Man. At the end of Civil War II, Hank doesn't even fully understand Tony's insides anymore, implying that he's experimented on himself so much. And if it can't be understood by Hank McCoy, then it's possible we'll never really know if Iron Man is somewhat mutant or not. Since eyes are so jumbled now, we don't even know what's happening in there. Maybe he was a mutant the whole time. Probably not, but maybe. Number 9. Franklin Richards. Franklin Richards was born to Reed Richards and Sue Storm of the Fantastic Four. While not mutants themselves, all the members of the Fantastic Four are considered mutates. Their mutant X genes activated during that fateful trip to space when they were exposed to cosmic rays, aka radiation, and as a result they mutated. While they may not be mutants themselves, having those genes be active, especially in both parents, gives them an almost guarantee that their children will be mutants too. Thus when Franklin was born, no one was surprised that he exhibited some of the most insane mutant powers from a young age, allowing him to change the very fabric of reality and build entire universes all on his own. It's no wonder that the X-Men are always so ready to welcome and invite Franklin into their mutant family. They're like, Franklin, you're so OP, you're Omega level, come on, join us. His family's like, no. He's part of the Fantastic Four. Can't have him. Number 8. Valeria Richards. Well, this hasn't been confirmed yet. I'm a little tired of Valeria getting snubbed in the comics, and it doesn't really make sense that Franklin gets to be a mutant, but Valeria doesn't. I'm more of the mind that her mutant abilities simply haven't activated yet, and although she might be a late bloomer, when it comes to her powers they will be either just as insane or maybe even more insane than her brothers. Many fans speculated that Valeria actually was a mutant after Fantastic Four Volume 1 issue 554, where we saw her with the shield surrounding her. Many thought that this could be proof that she would inherit her mother's abilities, or more specifically had already inherited them. However, when asked about whether or not Valeria was actually a mutant, Tom Brevoort, an editor at Marvel, answered, nope. Still, that was in 2013, and it does not make a lot of sense if Franklin is but Valeria isn't, especially having the exact same superpowered parents. Unless Valeria doesn't, unless she has a different dad or something. Oh, please do not make that a thing, that would be weird. Number 7. Devil Dinosaur. Devil Dinosaur comes from the prehistoric past of Earth 78411. He is not just a mutant, but also a devil beast from Dinosaur World. His mutant gene activated after a traumatic experience with fire. Fortunately, he was saved from those who would harm him by Moon Boy, who befriended the beast. Devil Dinosaur's skin changed to red as a result of his mutation, making him a giant, bright red dinosaur, which honestly kind of makes me think of Clifford the Big Red Dog. Devil Dinosaur was partnered with Moon Boy for quite some time until Moon Boy's death, wherein a new character was introduced to work alongside Devil Dinosaur, a girl with inhuman genes known as Lunella Lafayette, or Moon Girl. Also, she's super cute. Number 6. Abigail Brand. Abigail Brand is the head of SWORD, a division of S.H.I.E.L.D. specifically created to deal with defending the Earth from extraterrestrial threats, which, despite what the MCU might have you believe, wasn't necessarily the main point of the Avengers. Aliens were more of SWORD's thing. I feel like the Avengers are more about just general super threats, which sometimes ends up being aliens, but not if SWORD can beat them to it. Which honestly is their point, so Abigail Brand is one we often forget when it comes to heroes who are mutants because she is also an alien herself. Well, part alien anyways. Her dad was an alien and her mother was a human, but her mother was also a mutant, which is how Abigail herself ended up with an active X gene. Her mutant ability allows her to emit a hot blue energy from her hands that burns through most metals. She also can speak most alien languages, even ones that humans' mouths can't quite manage to wrap their tongues around. Number 5. Great Lakes Avengers. Surprisingly, many of the Great Lakes Avengers members are mutants. Even member Deadpool has been connected to the mutants, making his first appearance in the New Mutants series. Some consider Wade to be a mutant while others group him with mutates. It really depends on who you talk to there. Doorman, however, is a bona fide mutant with an oddly specific power, portaling you into an adjacent room. Big Bertha is also a mutant and part of the Great Lakes Avengers, and former member Squirrel Girl is also thought to be a mutate. So just mutants and mutates all over the place on that team. Pretty cool. Also, that team is really weird. I love it. Number 4. Silhouette. Silhouette is actually a really awesome mutant. She is one of the few mutants who retained her powers after M-Day, and is known as a magical or mystical mutant. Her powers originate from the universal spring, known as the Well of All Things. She is the child of a Cambodian woman named Miami and an American man named Andrew Cord. Silhouette is her alias and is also her birth name, and she is believed to be a part of a group of descendants who were destined to have power and to unite the east and western ways of the world. After being partially paralyzed by a gunshot, Silhouette was forced to fight while using crutches, but this has never stopped her from kicking serious butt and using her mutant powers to manipulate Dark Force energy. In fact, as a mutant teleporter, she is a super dangerous superhero to mess with, as she often uses her crutches to reach through portals she creates and smack her enemies with them. She also got some martial arts skills, so you know, she's really good at hitting you with her crutches. I would not want to fight Silhouette, I would definitely lose. Number 3. Namor. Namor is an anti-hero that we tend to forget is a mutant. Why? Well, because he just has so much going on outside of that. He was also a character who was created before the term mutant was popular in comics, as the X-Men did not yet exist. In fact, many people credit Namor as the first mutant. Now, not in all of Marvel Universe history, but more in Marvel comic book history. Namor was first introduced in the comics in 1939, making him the first mutant to ever appear, although we didn't really know it yet. In fact, it wasn't until the 90s that his full mutant status was recognized in the comics. Before then, he was often referred to as a mutant hybrid by nerd-appointed Marvel Universe mutant experts Professor Charles Xavier and Magneto. Magneto even one time asked Namor to join the Brotherhood. Woo! But Namor was like, nah, I'm too busy. I got things to do. I don't want to get in on this mutant stuff. He's busy with Atlantis. He's like, I gotta rule a kingdom. Number 2. Moira McTaggart. Moira is a superhero in her own right, though for many years none of us suspected that she had powers at all. She has been known as a mutant ally throughout comics, and often Charles Xavier's ill-fated lover. And if you don't think she's a proper hero, let me remind you that she was the one who figured out how to cure the Legacy virus, which makes her one in my books. We found out Moira McTaggart was a mutant recently in the comic book series House of X. We learned that she had done more than just die in the comics, and that in fact she had been reborn, as her powers allow her to do. But not in the traditional sense of superpowers allowing you to be reborn. This isn't a healing factor or a resurrection power. Her powers allow her to relive her life again, from birth to death, starting in the womb, but with all the knowledge that she accrued in her past life. So she's living the same years, but can use her actions to alter history, making her a really odd but surprisingly powerful mutant. Number 1. Spider-Girl. So here's the thing, for a while everyone thought that Spider-Man could be a mutant. Why? Well, because he had the mutant X gene and it activated. But this wasn't an organic mutation like most mutants. Mutants generally have their mutant gene activate and start manifesting mutant powers during puberty, or when something traumatic happens to them. Or I mean both. Let's be honest, puberty can be pretty traumatic. Spider-Man's mutant gene instead was activated by a radioactive spider bite. In order to preserve itself, his body activated the X gene, thereby giving him mutant abilities. However, Professor X never saw Peter Parker as a mutant while using Cerebro, which means to most of us that Spider-Man can't be considered part of the mutant club. Aww. However, being a mutate means that Spider-Man's children would be mutants, as his mutant gene being active would mean it would organically activate in his kids, being passed on to them. We see this happen on the alternate Earth of 982, when MJ and Peter are reunited with their baby that Norman Osborn stole away after convincing them it had been a stillborn. This little girl is named May, after Peter's aunt, nicknamed Mayday, and ends up seeing her mutant powers similar to her father's manifest around the age of 15, right around puberty. Coincidence? I think not. Thanks so much for watching, Nerd Squad. I hope you found some of these surprise mutants both shocking and interesting. Who are some of your favorite lesser-known superheroic mutants? Do you agree or disagree with the likely suspects that I have listed here? Do you agree that they are definitely mutants, or do you feel like we kinda need to consult Cerebro for this one? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Superpowers You Never Knew Shadowcat Had. Bob is Consumed comments, underrated fact, Kitty is one of the deadliest X-Men, if not Marvel heroes. Agreed, she's untouchable and can kill you with just one hand, by phasing that hand into your brain, but still impressive. Nathan Robinson says would have picked a pet dragon over lockpicking and language fluency. I mean, I guess possessing a pet alien dragon is like a power. I just thought it would be more of something to mention on a facts list about Shadowcat, as I don't really like insinuating that she can use another being as her power. Like, you shouldn't use other beings, it's not cool. But Lockheed does make a rad little ally, so he's pretty great. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your comments featured in a future list. Until next time, this has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you to stay nerdy, YouTube.